Hey, welcome to the July edition of Keto News Live. I'm Lenny, and we have a lot to talk about today in terms of latest developments in the keto community. We are on Instagram Live the 8th of every month at 8 p.m. Eastern Time, and with replays will be available on my feed, and the way to remember that is we are on the 8th at 8 to talk about what you ate, because it's all about keto. So a lot of developments to talk about today in the keto community and what's been going on. Let me see if I can cue this up here. Sorry, that's still a few technical glitches here. Hey, Barry. Hey, Tam. Let me fix that. All right, let me get the right agenda up here. So a lot of exciting developments in the keto community this month. You know, as I've been teasing on Instagram for the last couple of days, we'll talk about some surprising new research on keto and its effect on your bone density. Hey, Rita, nice to see you. And as people join in too, you know, we're going to be taking your questions throughout. And excuse me, I'm kind of a one-man band tonight, so forgive me if I'm not keeping track of your questions. But as people are joining in here, give a shout out. Let us know where you're watching this from. You know, I know the keto community is scattered all over the place. So hey, Bev, Keto's Bliss, nice to see you too. Philly J Steak, welcome too. And so, you know, but if you guys post in the comments where you're from, I think it'd be interesting to see, you know, where everybody is from that's tuning in this evening. But so I was mentioning, we're going to talk about some of the things is that trying to keep up here. We're talking about some of the latest research in terms of bone density and the impact of keto on that. We'll talk about some new developments in keto events, and we'll talk, as always, about some of the best keto websites for information, and of course we'll talk about the hottest new keto products, and of course we will have the information on the giveaway. You're going to want to stick around to it. We have, as I've mentioned before, a product that is not even on the market yet, but you could be one of the first people to try it if you enter our giveaway. Hello, Minneapolis. All right, so let's get this started as people are joining in here. So as I mentioned, we're going to talk about some surprising research lately that has come out about keto and the impact on bone density. A group of researchers in Australia and at Harvard Medical School took a bunch of elite athletes and they put half of them on the keto diet and they put half of them, hi Laurie from Corpus Christi, and they put the other half on a high carb diet for 3.5 weeks. And what they found is that the keto group, this is unfortunate, but this is the way the research turned out. The group that was on keto had higher levels of blood markers that are related to bone deterioration. And so that sort of suggested, hey Claudia, that sort of suggested that a keto may lead to greater bone depletion or a loss in bone strength. Now there are some caveats around this study. The study was only conducted for 3.5 weeks. Hey Chris. Hello to Boston. So the people who participated in the study, in 3.5 weeks, they weren't fully fat adapted. So their body hadn't completely adjusted to how they were dealing with keto, so it's unknown what kind of an effect that had. And also too, you know, the study did not measure bone density itself. Hey, Laurie, the study only measured the blood markers for bone deterioration. We're all losing bone density a little bit at a time as we get older. It's just an issue of how fast we're losing it. So the blood markers indicated that people on the keto diet were losing bone density faster than the people that were on the high carb diet. But they weren't actually measuring bone density. Now, if I'm sounding a little bit defensive about this study, it's because I am. I think all of us want keto to work. You know, we've seen firsthand and experienced how keto helps with everything. Weight control, blood sugar and insulin and pre-diabetes, migraines, you know, all sorts of conditions, blood cholesterol levels. And so it's, you know, I think we all want keto to work for us, but this study is actually consistent with some other studies that have come out over the years suggesting that keto may lead to higher levels of bone density loss. So what does this mean for us? Well, I think the upshot is I don't think we're going to give up keto, but I think we have to be a little bit careful and take care of our bones. I take calcium supplements, 500 milligrams twice a day. Hopefully you are also. I think we could all benefit from that. Personally, I prefer the algae-based calcium supplements. There's some indications that the body may absorb that better than the traditional calcium citrate or calcium carbonate supplements as well. But that's something that I think, we all have to decide individually, but I think we have to keep in mind that there is some indication that keto may not be the best for our bone health, and that's a side effect we might just have to deal with. Keto events. I had talked about last time about how KetoCon for this year was canceled, and so the KetoCon organizers took all of the presentations from KetoCon 17 and 18 and 19 and made them available free online. So the bad news is they have taken that down. The good news is they have replaced it, and they have put online presentations of everybody who was scheduled to present at KetoCon 2020 this year in Austin. So it's an amazing lineup of people. It's all the people that you're familiar with, Ellie Miller, Danny Vega, Sean Baker. It's really the A-list of keto experts. In fact, let me show you something real quickly here. This is just a taste of, I don't expect you to read this, but this is just a quick indication of the extent. 50 different people are presenting, and you can catch all of their presentations online. The downside is it does cost $99, but I would make the argument that let me make the pros and cons. The con is it is $99, but you could argue that's actually a bargain, because even if you were to attend KetoCon live, had it been held this year, you could not see all 50 of these presentations. They present in 4 different tracks, and so you're only going to catch, even if you went to every time slot, a quarter of the presentations. So this is the only way you can see all 50 of the presentations that would have been at KetoCon. For $99, you can weigh whether that's a good price or not. I would contend that's a bargain. But I will point out also that for most of the presenters, you can catch a lot of their materials online. If you go to YouTube, if you search around for Maria Emmerich, Craig Emmerich, all these people, you can probably find a lot of their presentations. Now, if you do that, you're not going to get their absolute latest presentation that they would have made had they gone to KetoCon, and we went there too. So, thank you, Laurie. But so decide for yourself. I think it's a tremendous learning opportunity. It covers everything from basics, exercise, medical questions. There's specific sessions about women in keto, but it's available, and it is at ketocon.org, and you can check it out and decide if that's worthwhile for you. So, speaking of websites, let's talk about our website of the month. This was one of the best websites, I think, and it was one of the first websites that I encountered. Hey, Keto D38, thanks for joining. Website of the month, ruled.me. The URL is a little funky, but I found that this was one of the most helpful websites when I started doing keto. Even when I Googled, how do I do this, what about that, it inevitably led me to a lot of articles that were at ruled.me. It has all sorts of information, again, covering from beginner to advanced, and I found it to be very helpful. Part of the reason for that is they have a very impressive board of advisors that is made up of a lot of physicians from all sorts of different specialties and practices, and so I think the information can be considered reliable as much as anything can be considered reliable on the internet. But if you're going to look for information, I think this is the place to do it, ruled.me. And Retro Spoon, hi, welcome. And to make it even better, this was a little bit unexpected, but just this week they launched a new FAQ section that covers 100 common questions that they've encountered, again, from basic to advanced, all the way from how do I start keto, even things like cooking tips. What do I do with the xanthan gum? How does intermittent fasting work? Do I need to adjust my exercise routine on keto? So the FAQ is a great place to start, in addition to all the great information that they present on rule.me. The one criticism I would have, though, is that their navigation is not the best. To find a lot of the information and articles, you have to go to Keto Diet section of their website, and then it'll direct you from there. They don't make it obvious. A lot of websites, it says right at the top, articles, blogs, and you can find the information when you need it. But so they make it a little tricky to find. In fact, the new FAQ section that I was talking about on ruled.me is actually at ruled.me/support. So they make it a little tricky to find, but again, the information that's on Rule.me, I consider it one of the top websites, and that's why it's our website of the month. Now, in full disclosure, Rule.me sells 30-day diet plans through their Keto Academy. That's how they monetize the site. I don't think that's necessarily a detriment and doesn't even take away from the information that they present, but just be aware, they do have this business model on the other side of it, and they're selling meal plans for between $12 and $20 a month. Now, in the event you are and you can access most of the information without signing up for their meal plans. If you decide to sign up for their meal plans, I was communicating with Craig Clark, the founder of Rule.me this week, and he did mention that he's providing a 10% off code for anybody who's watching this who would like to sign up for their meal plans, and either DM me or I'll put the information in the show notes, and you can decide if that's something you would like to pursue. So, speaking of diets and so forth, let's talk about hot new keto products this month. And we've got some fun stuff to talk about this month. So, the good people at Kettle and Fire, who make some of the best bone broths around, announced they have launched a line of keto bone broths. And I saw that, and I was excited, and I also got extremely confused because aren't bone broths inherently keto? In fact, I ran to the cupboard and I checked my aseptic pack of Kettle and Fire bone broth, and sure enough, it has 2 grams of net carbs in it. Bone broth by nature isn't supposed to have carbs unless you're doing something seriously wrong when you're making it. So what made these new bone broths keto? So I had to dig a little bit further. So the way it works is the new lines of the keto or keto-friendly bone broth that they announced are much higher in fat. They've added all sorts of fat components in it to make the macros a little closer to the ideal keto. Bone broth by nature is primarily almost all protein. It often has little or no fat and very little carbs as well. So this new line of Kettle and Fire keto bone broths is keto because it adds more fat to it. And also, too, I haven't tried them, but they've got some delicious flavors. They have like a Thai bone broth flavor, which is kind of like tom yum soup. They have this spicy cauliflower, and so, if you check it out, let us know how that works for you. One thing I'll mention here tonight too, folks, if you were unfortunate enough to watch the first episode of Keto News last month, it went terribly long. I watched the replay and I couldn't believe how long it went. Hopefully we'll try to keep things moving along a little bit more this time here. But so, that was a little bit confusing because obviously other people like Kiss My Keto have lines of keto bone broths out there, and they don't differentiate. They acknowledge that basically all bone broths are keto to begin with. So, speaking of Kiss My Keto, this is a very exciting new product to talk about today. So, Kiss My Keto is working on a line of vegan-friendly keto bars. And again, when I heard about this led me to more confusion because keto bars by nature generally don't have a lot of meat and things like them in them. I sort of assumed that a lot of them were vegan-friendly to begin with. But the way this works is, why they're billing these new lines of keto bars as keto-friendly is the old or existing, or I guess I should say original line of Kiss My Keto bars did have milk protein in it, and a lot of keto bars do have whey protein in them. There were actually also, I think, egg whites in the original Kiss My Keto line, so that's why they're billing this new line as vegan friendly. I think it's very common for a lot of keto bars to have whey protein and things like that in them. But it's curious. So the real thing is these new line of bars that they're working on is dairy-free. That's the big deal. But they're billing it as vegan-friendly. And as you can see, they've got 3 flavors they're working on: maple, chocolate, peanut butter, and blueberry. Now at this point, Kiss My Keto hasn't announced when or if this line of vegan-friendly bars is actually going to make it to market. Or if these are going to be the flavors they roll with, or if they're going to continue to bill it as vegan-friendly, or if they're going to bill it more as dairy-free. So that's, I think, one thing to watch for. But the exciting thing is that I was able to score some samples from the good people at Kiss My Keto. And I have not tried them yet, but they look very good, and I am anxious to try them, although these are test samples. And one note to the Kiss My Keto people, if you're watching out there, I don't know if you can see this or not, but you can see a little bit at the bottom. This is the chocolate peanut butter flavor, and some of the oils from the peanut butter is already pooling into the container, and so this might be a little messy if they go into production with this same formulation, particularly in the summer months. So just be aware that the way it's running now, it could create a little bit of a month. Hello, Lexia, and hello, Christy. Thanks for joining. We're talking about hottest new keto products. And if you, by the way, if you missed the earlier part, hopefully you'll catch the replay, which I'll have posted on my feed before too long. But the exciting thing is, this is our giveaway for this month. I sort of teased it in some of the posts I had earlier. But so we are giving away one set of samples of all 3 flavors of these test samples that Kiss My Keto is putting out for their new line of vegan-friendly keto bars. And as I mentioned, you cannot buy these. They are not on the market. These are test samples, but you could be one of the first people to try it in this month's giveaway. And we'll try them together, and we'll see how that works. How the giveaway works this month is this. I'll have the replay posted probably by 9 o'clock Eastern tonight. Go to the replay, follow me if you don't already, and importantly, follow hashtag Keto News so you'll get the alerts about upcoming episodes and so forth, and I'll be able to track. I'll know, to make sure that you went ahead and followed Keto News, and also tag a keto friend who might be interested either in joining the giveaway or might be interested in watching future episodes of Keto News. And so join the giveaway. As I said, I should have the replay posted on my feed before too long. So that is this month's episode of Keto News, Keto Lifestyle. Thanks for just joining. This is a work in progress too. So, right now, if you have any questions about keto, about anything we discussed tonight, or keto lifestyle in general, post it. We'll give it a shot at answering it. If I don't know the answer, someone who's joining on the feed here might also. But also, I'd welcome your feedback, even if not in the Q&A right now. If you want to post a comment on the replay, what sort of things would be of interest to you? You've seen the lineup tonight. We talk about the latest keto medical research. We talk about keto events that are coming up. We talk about other developments, such as hot new keto products, and what I deem as the website of the month. And I would welcome your feedback. Are these the right topics to talk about? Are there other things that you think would be more of interest in future episodes? We'll be here, hopefully, every month on the 8th of every month at 8 p.m. Eastern Time with the replays posted on my feed. But if there's any questions out there, throw them out, and we're happy to address them if a couple of minutes we have left. What do I think about egg fast? There's a couple quick things. Thank you for the question, D38. I think egg fasts are kind of funky because it's not technically a fast to begin with. How long is it to be healthy? Lifestyle, we'll get to that question next, but hold off, so I'm trying to keep up with this. It's not really a fast because you're ingesting eggs as your food. It's really just, they should call it the egg-only diet. I tried the egg fast for a couple of days. It didn't work for me. By the third meal, my body was telling me there's something wrong here with eating only eggs, as nutritious as they are, and I had to stop. And that was surprising for me because I tried carnivore for a few days and I had very different results with that, and that actually went quite well. But my rule of thumb for all things keto is try it. Try an egg fast. See if it works. There's so many different facets and different ways to do keto. Intermittent fasting, long-term fasting. Try it. Some people are doing water fasts. And even keto itself, keto can be strict, but there's lazy keto, there's dirty keto, there's carb cycling, there's planned cheat days. And so, I agree, Claudia. Why do we call it an egg fast? So there's so many different ways to do keto, and all of our metabolisms are different. A lot of people have different food sensitivities. A lot of my friends have had success cutting out dairy. That seemed to be one of their issues. And so try everything. keto works differently for everybody. Try things, experiment, see what works for you, see what doesn't. Egg fast, everything else might work for you. It might not work for someone else. And Chris, yeah, before we get to Love Style's question about how long, carnivore, since I mentioned it, thanks for raising that. Let me talk very quickly about carnivore. I went to a talk by Dr. Paul Saladino, who just released his new book called The Carnivore Code. When I first heard about carnivore, I literally thought that this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. Eating nothing by meat, that's totally bonkers. And then I noticed when I went to a lot of presenters at KetoCon and elsewhere talking about carnivore, they all opened their talk saying the same thing. They said, when I first heard about carnivore, I heard it was the stupidest thing ever, and now I am carnivore. So Paul Saladino, I went to his talk. If you're interested, check out his book, Carnivore Code. He gave a very interesting and convincing talk where he went step by step. Medically, scientifically, this is why carnivore makes sense. Nutrition is much more bioavailable in meat form than it is through vegetables. Our metabolisms are geared towards eating only meat. And he was very convincing. I tried carnivore. I had some mixed results. I won't get into that right now. Although, interestingly, I am now experimenting with vegan keto, which seems to be working better for me. So carnivore works great for some people. Danny Vega's a big proponent. And again, try it, see how it works for you. That's the best thing that I could suggest. A couple questions coming in about bone broth. Most bone broths, by nature, like Kettle and Fire and everybody else, only have like maybe 2-3 net carbs each, or sometimes if you make your own bone broth, it'll tend to have 0 bone broth. Someone asked about intermittent fasting with bone broth. Again, try it. I'm a big proponent in bone broth, for some family health issues that I think were solved with bone broth. Huge proponent of that. If it meets your macros and it works for you, by all means, I think it can fit into a lot of different keto lifestyles. Love Style was asking, how long can you be on keto, if I understood the question correctly. Let me spin back here. Let me see here. How long is it healthy to do keto? You've been hearing many things. Again, there's a lot of different opinions on that. The short answer, my feeling is, and a lot of the people who I consider my friends and peers and mentors in the keto community, keto can be a lifestyle for the rest of your life. If you do it properly, if you adapt to it, if you're used to it, if you're creative with your food choices, keto can be a lifetime lifestyle. And that's very important because a lot of people are seeing improvements or dealing with serious lifetime issues, diabetes, high cholesterol, things beyond weight loss. And for those types of things, if keto works for them, they likely will want to continue doing it, you would think, for the rest of their life, to continue to manage their diabetes, their high cholesterol, their heart disease, you name it. So my feeling is keto is sustainable. If it's done right, it can last you the rest of your life. But again, that's a decision you have to make for yourself to seeing on how it goes. But I would also say, along with that, keto is challenging. Not just in terms of, the food choices, it is more than avocado and bacon, but staying keto is not easy. And so if you're finding it difficult to stay on keto, you might want to consider some of the other options: lazy keto, dirty keto, carb cycling, and things like that. There's a lot of different ways to tackle it, but hopefully, in the long run, keto works for you and can become a lifetime lifestyle for you. Keto Love Style, you're saying what? You've been keto for 5 years and it's working, your type 1 diabetes and your numbers are great, we're all different. You'll never go back to eating. I love to hear that. High five to you. Keep it up. I love hearing success stories like that. I think we're all looking to improve ourselves and live our best life possible on keto, and it sounds like you were doing that. Kudos to you. Kayla, thanks for joining. Hope you'll catch the replay on my feed, which should be up within the next half hour or so. D38 combined dirty keto and healthy keto. Yeah, I think, it's got to be sustainable. I think that's the key. If some people can do strict keto and stay with it, which I'm trying to do, boom, stay with that. If you need to do something different, a variation of keto, find what works for you and what is sustainable and you could stick with, and I think that's the key. Any other questions or any other comments from anybody? I think this has been a great discussion, and again, if you didn't catch the whole thing, the replay will be up shortly. Claudia, yeah, you're type 2 and complications, 2 years for you, and I know you've been very open, Claudia, about your story and your keto journey, and it sounds like it is working for you, and keep it up. I find your story very inspiring, by the way. So so if you didn't catch the whole thing, catch the replay. And again, I'm looking for your feedback in terms of what topics would be of interest for you, what topics would be of interest, and what questions we should tackle. Barry does it. You're cooking to make keto fun. And by the way, so Barry Bree _ my keto lunch. Check out his feed. Good friend of mine down in Louisiana whose life mission is to convert delicious Cajun cooking and make it keto friendly, and he cooks the most amazing dishes. Like I was saying before, keto can be a lot more than just avocado and bacon. You can eat amazing foods. You don't have to be restrictive about it, so check out Barry's feed. I would highly recommend it. Keto and a fatty liver. I'm not too familiar with fatty liver, so I have to confess I don't know specifics about that. But one thing I will say is I went to a talk with Allie Miller at KetoCon last year, and she talked about how it's not even about the specific medical issues or health issues like diabetes or cholesterol. She said that keto, when it works right, changes your entire metabolism down to the cellular mitochondrial level. So really, it changes your entire physiology. And so I think an argument can be made that all your organs, all your functions will work better on the keto diet, and presumably that fatty liver would be included in that. And Keto Marathoner says she had fatty liver and keto cured you, and there you go. And she's inviting you to DM if you want. And then Chris, thank you for sharing that. I think that's just somewhat anecdotal proof again that keto is not just weight loss. It's not just blood sugar and ketones. It is systemic and changes your entire body for the better, and I'm a huge believer in that. Any other questions? Otherwise, we'll call it a night. I appreciate everybody sticking around. It's hard, I know, to devote a half hour in the summertime, but on the other hand, during lockdown, it is fun to connect with everybody, share information, share questions, share stories, and hopefully we all learn. I think that's, to me, the best part of the keto community is we talk to each other, we learn from each other, we inspire each other, we support each other. It's not easy. There's a lot of ups and downs, and I think it's wonderful that we're all here for each other. So thank you so much, everybody. It was wonderful, to talk with you, to see you, to say hi to some friends, meet some new friends, and like I said, the replay will be up in a half hour, and I look forward to hopefully seeing you next month, August 8th at 8 p.m. to talk about what you ate and how it made you great. Tell your friends about it. We'll see you then. Keto on. Take care, everybody.